That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Jason David Frank.
Boom shakalaka.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. He's gonna skip ahead. He's gonna skip ahead. No, don't skip ahead.
This is the part.
All right. You know, look, you see what he's doing here?
Good night, everybody. I'm gone.
Oh my Lord, guys! Welcome to the Hangin' with Web Show again. I'm GW Pomichter.
I'm Christian Base.
And we are at Central Florida Comic Con in Lakeland, Florida. We've been here all weekend long. We've been hanging out with artists, authors, filmmakers, the creative minds of all kinds. And we're hanging right now with game designer and publisher Mark Sierens from Screech Dragon Studios.
Yes.
Screech Dragon.
Screech Dragon.
Screech Dragon.
Oh, because I'm loud.
Let's
put it this way. Well, I can be heard across the hall if I need to be.
If he needs to be.
If I need to be.
He doesn't need to be right now.
I was going to ask, where did you get the title Screech Dragon?
It was actually a buddy of mine who was getting out of the industry, and he had the loaded dice glassware, and we decided to purchase that from him, and also Screech Dragon. We had another company before that had too much of a negative connotation with the name called Vile Genius Games, and we wanted...
With what?
Vile Genius Games. And the problem with Vile is that it's
vile.
It's vile.
That was a vile name.
So we wanted to bring something that was a little bit more family oriented, so people, when they look at the games and they go, oh, well,
so
this must be bad.
Screeching Dragons, that did it for you.
Exactly, Screeching Dragons.
The kids
you
love
kidding me?
it.
Look at this. Look
It's
this
a
little
great
guy.
logo. It's a great logo here. All right, man. So you're a game designer and publisher. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
All right. So you're sitting around your house, and all of a sudden you're like, I wish I had something to do. And this is what you come up with.
Yeah, well, inspiration hits everywhere.
Everywhere.
So, I'm currently designing a game right now that the tentative title is Trouble in Terror Town. It's based off of an airsoft game that people play. So you have a couple of traders, a lot of innocents, and a detective, and you go around and it's player elimination. You have to, all the traders have to eliminate all the innocents.
This is a board game?
No, this is a
live action game.
It's a live action game. You play it during airsoft. I got shot during my last game.
If
by
y'all
my daughter.
have teenage kids, y'all know what this is. This is parent torture. That's what this is. He got the bruises. Look at that.
That was for my daughter. My 12-year-old daughter shot me, and she giggled the entire time.
By the way, if you
great.
guys don't know, I don't know if she has links on the internet. But we're gonna link because that is a 12-year-old ninja seal.
Yeah.
She's
we just started playing airsoft about 2 weeks ago, and we got into it, and we were going through, and she was ahead of me, and she was running. It's a light thing, so you have to switch off. You have to dominate all the lights. We were running by, we got the first light, she went running up to the second light. As she's swapping it, this cat comes around the corner and he aims at her. She drops down to her knee pads, aims up and shoots him 4 times in the chest. It was like a John Wick move.
Wow.
And
Navy SEAL in 2 weeks, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's like I had enough trouble getting the kids to do the dishes.
Well, I still have that problem too, but now I have bribery. It's like, dishes are done or we're not going to airsoft. Boy, that house was spotless.
That's it, done. Let your kid get a good hobby because then you have blackmail. Yes.
So the
Parenting
idea about
101. We're going to name this video "How to Parent" because apparently we're
So going back into the design aspect of it, I was like, well, how do I take something that needs an airsoft gun, eliminate the gun, and have people doing it? So I came up with another game that's similar, which I'll explain about.
We did that when we were kids. Remember, we walked around and went bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, exactly. So we now have a card-based game that does the same mechanic. So what happens is you have stab cards, you have bang cards, and you have poison cards. So if I'm within proximity to you, I could tap you and say you're stabbed. 5 seconds, you count down 5 Mississippi, and then you die. So if people aren't paying attention, they don't know who just killed Christian.
Oh, because it's
But the bang card, you could be 6 feet away and go, don't come near me, I'm going to shoot you. Bang. All of a sudden they drop down. The detective can still find out what role the person was that died.
Okay.
So we had to come up with an interesting way to get people together, because then the innocents would just stay away from each other. So we came up with an intel card that people have to trade to get them to come in. So that's sort of how things go. It's like all of a sudden inspiration hits, and the game kept me up literally for a week. I would go to bed at night, and each time my head hit the pillow, all of a sudden my eyes would shoot open, and I was like, oh, that's another great idea. And I had to get up and have to write it down. So for 4 or 5 straight days, I got like 3
These are some
hours
of your
sleep.
games?
These are all games that are part of Screech Dragon Studios. So
Okay, so what do we got here on top? What is this?
Murder on Cosmic Express is our newest game. It's actually it's another hidden trader game. So it plays in about 5 minutes. So if people have ever played the game Werewolf and they played Clue, we mixed both games together and took all out of BS. So this is actually designed by Stephen Eckman.
Wow.
These are like the pre-release copies, so the game won't be out until April itself, but we're actually launching an expansion right away that's going to happen in February on Kickstarter called More Passengers.
More Passengers.
Yeah, we've added 3 more roles, some more murder cards and all that to go through, and it's a game that plays in 5 minutes.
That's nice. Now, is it like it's done in 5 minutes, or you can keep going, or you can extend it or expand
what happens
it?
is that so we all have roles. Like say there's a murderer, there's a accomplice. The accomplice wants to make sure anybody but the murderer gets arrested. Okay. The captain and undercover detective want to arrest the murderer.
Okay.
You have a decoy that wants to be arrested, but does not need to have a murder weapon, and will win if nobody else wins. And the butler wants the murderer arrested, but needs to collect 2 junk. The problem is if the murder weapon is junk, there's only going to be 3 of the junk moving around, so the murderer and the butler are fighting over it because there's a 1 minute passing card section.
Okay, so then this is a card, like a
card-based
trading card game.
Yep, it's a card.
Oh, okay, so it's like the kids play with the different.
Yeah.
characters.
So you have your role.
All right.
So that's the accomplice.
All right. So he doesn't want murderer arrested. Doesn't want a murderer weapon found.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to have a murder weapon in their hand.
Now are these dealt or?
Yeah. So what happens is everybody gets their role.
Okay.
And then the murder weapons. I can open this up. I'm the boss.
As far as you know, he's telling the truth.
Yeah. We're paying for it later, I'm sure.
So there's like 3 of each murder weapons. Like there's the clue candlestick, for example.
So we would like these would be dealt out. And
we have 2 cards, and one will always be face down. That's the murder weapon. So before the game starts, like after we dealt out our cards, you'd only have 2 in your hand. It'll be like murderer, close your eye. Everybody close your eyes. Murderer, open your eyes. Murderer, stop murdering people with this murder weapon. It's not nice. Puts it back down. You put a sand timer or a 1 minute timer above it. You start the timer, and then we start passing cards. You got what? The candlestick in your hand?
I got candlesticks, yeah.
So what happens is if I start and I have these 2 cards in my hand.
Okay.
The cards go flying.
We'll get them later.
The dropping it on the floor part is not part of the game?
It's not part of the game at all. So what happens is if I trade you this card, you trade me a card at the same time.
I'm going to give you that, okay.
All right, so now there's only 3 candlesticks in the game, right? You don't know what that is, but that's the wrench.
I don't know what...
If you were the captain, you would not know what it is.
Oh, okay.
But what you just got is a huge amount of information because since you traded me a candlestick and I gave you one, you have 3 candlesticks in your hand. All the candlesticks are out. It cannot be the murder weapon.
It can't be the murder weapon.
So if you're the accomplice,
yeah,
you know that you're safe. You can say, I'm done trading. That just throws a huge amount of shade on you because the murderer doesn't want to trade if they got both murder weapons.
Okay. So, which is in my benefit because I don't want them to catch the real murderer either.
Like for instance, if you pass me the wrench and you're the captain and you notice that I never passed this card again and I got another one, I stopped trading, and you know that, and it reveals that the wrench is the murder weapon, well, you know that I'm probably the murderer because you passed me a wrench and I didn't pass it off.
I'm trying to keep it off the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
There's a strategy element to
it. Don't drop the cards on the ground.
Don't drop the cards on the ground.
So it literally is. It's a trading card type game that takes Clue and then, like on a steroid timer.
Yeah,
this
1
is
minute.
Not your 8-hour Clue game, guys. It's
1 minute. 1 minute timer, and the longest game that we've played was like 9 minutes and 32 seconds because we had 3 really good liars at the table, and the captain could not figure out which one was lying.
That's cool. Okay, so we got these other games here. We have The Greater Debate.
Yes.
Okay, now this is...
Have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
Yes.
Okay, this is a clean version of Cards Against Humanity with a twist. So if the 3 of us were playing, who would win in a fight between pirates and ninjas? You each have 30 seconds to argue, and then we all vote on who had the best.
Okay.
So the great thing about this is 100% clean.
Okay.
And what we do with
so
this...
Allison Murray, you need this for the next show. My sister is the game girl. On the show, she likes... I'm a journalist, so we ask questions the whole time. We talk. My sister runs out of questions about 6 minutes in, so she needed something to do. So she went out and bought games. And she bought games like Cards Against Humanity. And so she pulls out these trivia cards and she's like, okay, talk to me about this. And it's always dirty.
Yeah.
So, Allie, greater debate.
We never want this to be dirty because, first off, we don't have to want to explain to Grandma what smegma is.
Valid. Very valid. That's right.
But the other cool thing about...
Right here, because I didn't do it.
Oh, that was me.
Maybe I did. I don't know. Okay, no, what do we got here?
Hold on. I want to go back to this for a second because there's
okay.
something really good we're doing with the Greater Debate. We do a lot of charitable stuff with our business. So we actually are based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so Parkland happened in our backyard. And that really affected us. My wife went to school there and all that. So we got really upset when all of a sudden we heard the crisis actor being named for some of the victims there. So we got so pissed off, we actually made an expansion for the Greater Debate called MSD Strong. 100% of the proceeds from that are actually going to go to victims of school shootings.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
well done, man. That is fantastic.
So that's why I always get goosebumps when we talk about that.
We're going to drop links down below in the description so you can find all of these games. You guys got a good online presence?
Yes, we have a pretty good online presence.
Okay,
you can find us on Facebook at Screech Dragon Studios. ScreechDragon.com is our website.
Awesome.
By the way, if you have somebody that needs that, you can go ahead and take that one.
I got a question for you. In a world with like VR games and video games, where did the passion come from trading card games and board games?
Board games has really jumped up since 2009 with the advent of Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So Kickstarter really helped things out. But think about it, our generation, I grew up with Atari 2600, ColecoVision, stuff like that.
Oh, he was one of them kids.
Oh, yeah.
Atari 2600.
Look, I still have.
The one button, one joystick, that's the old Atari.
The old Atari 26, yeah.
Boom, boom, boom,
well,
boom.
I still have my Atari, okay?
And
I still
our kids
have a
are running
ColecoVision.
around with like 17 buttons. My thumbs don't even do that.
Well, the problem is now we're so disconnected as a society where we're inside of our own individual things. I used to play MMOs, and I used to play with my friends there. And single-player games, I just don't play that much anymore. Although I have every game system you can imagine.
But it's more fun to play with a community.
Exactly. For me personally, getting into the industry, I started playing board games about 9 years ago. We'd have everybody come over to my house, we'd play games and all that. Have that interaction, connection, having people across the table that you can interact with. And then I started in 2015 with, on one of our other games, Evil Genius Death Ray, came up as a joke of why are there no games about a death ray, and we built something from there.
Wow.
So it's a great community to be in because you want openness. You want to be able to go through and interact.
It's fantastic.
So,
we want a quick shout out to our friends over at the Historical Miniatures and Gaming Society. You got to link up with these guys. They do tournaments all over the state.
Oh, nice.
Like conventions, all games, all board games, miniature games, you name it, all kinds of games.
You know how many conventions I do a year?
About 170,000. I'm betting because we saw some of the. Look who he's got here. You got to be one of the popular guys here. This is okay. What do we got? This is real quick. You're gonna give me a second back there behind the camera. You're gonna give me 1 second. Real quick. We want to get some quick descriptions. Though we have Gameception.
A game within a game. You play it while you play other games.
And I can't go any. She's holding the card. I can't go any further. Okay. Well, we have the Cul-de-sac Conquest.
You hate your neighbors and you want them to rage quit the neighborhood.
Oh, God.
Cul-de-sac Conquest. Nice.
We have an expansion coming out for that later on this year.
Later on this year.
Yeah.
You got the Kickstarter going in February 2019.
For Murder.
For Murder on the thing.
We actually have a lot of great games
Lots
coming out.
and lots of games coming down the pike, guys. We're hanging out here with Mark Sierens from Screech Dragon Studios. He's the designer, he's a publisher. We're going to put links down below so you can find him online, Facebook, Twitter, wherever he happens to be. You got a ScreechDragonStudios.com kind of thing?
ScreechDragon.com.
ScreechDragon.com. Check them out, guys. In the meantime, thank you to our partners and our friends at Something Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, J. Bauer Art,
Celestial Healings, Krypton Radio, Radio.com, and Pound the Grape. Yeah, that's for me earlier. So
that's right. All right. So you've been hanging with Mark Sierens, the Screech Dragons designer and publisher on the Hangin' with Web Show. So remember, guys, subscribe, log on, tune in, see who we're hanging with next.
Nice.
Awesome. Nice job.
Thank you, sir.